So pick a subject, relationship or business, whichever one feels the strongest to you, and let's activate a little bit of it, and let's demonstrate, it'll be easy for you, how to accomplish a vibration that shifts your grid that then will, maybe today and maybe in the next few days, fill in. Let's take just a minute. Are you understanding what we're talking about the grid? It's something that we've been talking about new. So we're just going to take a little bit of time here and lay a basis. And then when we play together, this will be really meaningful for everyone. So before you came into this physical body, you were source energy. Do you sort of kind of agree with that? And a part of your consciousness came into this body. And here's the personality as you, all vitally focused here. Knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want. Sifting and sorting. And every time you know what you don't want and know what you do want, the knowing what you do want part is offered by you in a vibrational sort of rocket. We've been calling it a rocket of desire. And those rockets, as they emanate from you, are held by the larger part of you. In other words, when you're sick, you know you want to be well, and that wellness becomes more active in the non-physical part of you. When you don't have enough money, you know you want more money, and that prosperity is held by you in a stronger way. When someone is rude, you want them to be nice. When you feel unhappy, you want to be happy. In other words, when you see someone suffering, you want them to have relief of suffering. So everything that you are living is causing you to offer this vibrational request, and the source within you becomes the vibrational equivalent of it immediately. Now we know this may be hard for you to understand. It would be like a child suffering and a mother or a father watching the child suffering. And as the child is suffering, that parent understanding that this child wants absence of suffering, and that this parent is so aware of the deliciousness of absence of suffering that they are able to see this child in the absence of suffering even while the child is still suffering. Maybe going away. He's holding it with the power of his mind. So then, the source energy part of you holds that request. And so we've been calling that the vortex because it's a point of attraction that is gathering momentum. It's gathering cooperative components. It is a vibrational version of everything that you want, all queued up and ready to manifest. Now, you are moving around with patterns of thought going on. So you have a habit of thought on just about every subject. And how you feel about those different subjects, we are calling your grid. It's this vibrational point of attraction. So just imagine that here you stand in your physical body, thinking whatever you're thinking about today, and offering a vibration that we're calling your point of attraction. And here's the vortex over here with everything in it that you've been asking for, a vibrational version of it. Let's say that you've been meditating, so your mind is clear of any resistance. Or let's say you've been appreciating, so in this moment your mind is clear of any resistance. Let's say you've been basking. Let's say you're in love and in the moment flowing that love toward. So your vibration right now, this point of attraction or grid that you're offering right now, is pure, positive, good feeling energy, just like what's in your vortex. So under those conditions, everything that's in the vortex can fill into the grid in the perfect timing, Not all at once, like eating everything that you will eat this year right now. It will fill in the perfect timing. So let's say that you're upset about something. So you've got a different grid going on. A grid with a frequency that's different from the frequency of this vortex. Under those conditions, the things from your vortex cannot fill into this grid. So where are the components that are filling into this grid coming from? They're coming from all around because every thought that has ever been thought still exists. Your grid is filling in. The question that this seminar wants to ask of you in a new and pointed way is your point of attraction, which is here and now, is your point of attraction filling in with the contents that you've carefully gathered over lifetimes in your vortex? Is it filling in with who you really are and what you really want? Or is it filling in with the components of things that you've picked up along your physical trail that you don't want? And in simple terms, the way you feel right here and now is the indication of where the components of the grid that is filling in are coming from. In other words, are they coming from who you really are, or are they coming from someplace else? So that's sort of an understanding of the grid. So now, give us, as clearly as you can, a statement that depicts what you want relative to some important subject. This is what I want, and this is why I want it.
I want my new construction business to take off with abundance and stay abundant. I want a beautiful, delicious relationship.
Let's just take one thing.
And I want to be a singer-songwriter. There's all three.
So I want my new construction company to take off. There's some squirrely stuff going on in that already, because I want it to do something it isn't doing. I want it to take off from its stalled out position. So there's some of all of that vibration in there. Can you hear it? And I want it to stay that way. I want it to improve, and I want it to stay in that improved state. Now, can anyone feel any discord in that? Because, and it's all right, we ask for it. Now we're climbing your tree about it.
Well, because the last one took off like a bullet for 4 years. And then failed. So that's why I want the new one to take off and stay there.
Well, we understand that, but you can't have it both ways. You can't focus on it taking off and failing at the same time. It takes off, it fails. It takes off, it fails. It takes off, it fails. In other words, that keeps your vibration all over the place. So this grid fills in, then 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 this grid fills in. And then you come to us and you say, what's going on? And we're saying, you got sloppy grid going on. You got sloppy grid going on. And then you logically would say, well, I'm only observing what's going on. And we say, well, cut it out. Don't let your grid be about what you're remembering or about what you're observing. You got to let it be about what you want, because you've got a vortex full of everything you want that will come to you and will come to you fast and will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. But you've got to figure out how to be more consistent in the grid that you're offering. So do you think to be more consistent in the grid you're offering, that means become a better observer of the facts and details of your life experience? Seems logical, but that's hard, isn't it? Because when you observe stuff, it causes you to offer a vibration, and then law of attraction just gives you more of that. It's like, Abraham, give me a break. I see things around me. I look at them. As I look at them, they vibrate. Then I vibrate. Then more of them comes to me, and then I see more. How do I break this cycle? And we say, by making it about the emotion rather than about the details. And that's our way of saying, go general. Go general. So, we're going to go general. A construction company that is really taking off feels like what?
Good.
It feels good. How? Why does it feel good? What's good about it? It feels, use emotional word, it feels.
It makes me feel good to feed other families and my own.
But that feed other families and my own is a treacherous statement, because it causes you to focus in a way that worries you. I want to feed these families. Well, of course you want to feed these families. But did you start a construction company? In other words, is that what work is? Is it about feeding families? Is that why there's work and play in this environment? Is that why you want to make such a distinction between your work and your play? Work is the responsible thing that we do. We don't really want to do it, but we do it in order to do responsible things like feed, because you know what it would be like if we stopped feeding each other. Feeding each other. So, is that really?
Well, I started a construction company to be my own boss, and freedom of time really was the benefit of it. Freedom of my own time.
But here we go again. I want to be free of people telling me what to do, people having an opinion about what I do. And so what's the vibration that's going on there? Don't want to be bossed around, don't want somebody telling me what to do. You all should be independent contractors. You should all be independent in the sense that you don't want people telling you what to do. But can you feel the discord in that vibration too? So stay with us. You're going to really enjoy this. You all will. So here's the way it's sounding. I'm starting the construction company myself because there are so many things about working for other people that I just can't stand. So I'm working for myself because I don't want to do all of those things that I can't stand. But in knowing what you don't want, what is it that you do want? What is it that you do want? What do you think you've put into your vortex? So let's take it piece by piece. What was the worst thing about working for someone else?
Lack of freedom.
And make it a little more specific. For example, in other words, did they have chains on you? Were you chained to a desk?
Punching a clock, having to be somewhere 7 to 3:30 or answering to somebody, punching a clock.
Everybody gets that, but we want you to describe this bondage to us. Seriously, were they chaining you to something?
No.
Did you have the option of going or not going?
Yes, I did.
Was there someone there who was going to put something under your fingernails if you didn't do it?
No.
Are you exaggerating this lack of freedom a little bit?
A little bit.
But in all of that, so now we're getting it back into a sort of reasonable place. Tell us, what is it that you want? That specific subject, what would feel better? What is it that you want? You see, it's really a wonderful thing because you're telling us that you want the freedom to be and do and have as you please, to go and do what you want. And we're wanting to explain to you that you not only have that freedom, you must exercise that freedom because your point of attraction is what equals everything that comes to you. You're so free that you can choose bondage. You're so free that you can prevent what's in your vortex from coming to you. You're so free that you can gather from that grid rather than from that grid. You're so free that you can get it from a place that when it comes, you're not going to like it. You have a freedom that you don't know that you even have because you're pushing against the lack of freedom that is really more of an illusion than you're allowing yourself to believe that it is. Ooh, can you hear how good this is? So
good stuff.
So you know what you don't want. What is it that you do want? What's in your vortex? When someone says to you, I want you to do something different than you want to do, what goes into your vortex? What's the desire that is born? I love making my own choices. And I love making my own choices and lining up with them. And then I love watching universal forces fill that in. I love the ease and leverage. I have felt the power of this. You see, what's happening to you is you remember a time when you weren't cluttering up your own vibration. You remember a time when your relationship with your vortex, when your grid was filling in from your vortex, you remember that time. And now the sort of fit that you're throwing, and we're offering those words lovingly, is because as it's not filling in, you're wanting to blame it on the bondage of an employer. Not really, because you're here asking these questions. But if we can convince you that everything that's coming or not coming is coming or not coming only because of how you feel, and that you have the freedom, and you have the clarity, you have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge to focus in a way where you feel differently enough that that grid will fill in. You'll start remembering why you have a contracting business. You'll start remembering that creative ability that is yours. You'll start remembering the zest you feel when moving parts are coming together. You'll start remembering how fun it is to work with those cooperative people who are full of life, who have strength and power and ability and skills, who come to you with all that they offer in their friskiness, and you say, you're someone I would like to work with me. You're someone that I would like to work with me. You're someone that I would like to work with me. And here they come. Clients are coming. Clients that want what your company offers. And employees that want to offer what your clients want. In this harmonic dance. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to be alive? Isn't it fun to know who you are? Isn't it fun to attract good employees? Yes. Isn't it fun to get really good clients? Isn't it thrilling to please your client? Isn't it thrilling to give your client more than he ever thought he could get? Isn't it thrilling to do work in such a way that when people look at it, they are so pleased? Isn't it fun to build a reputation of a really good business? Isn't it fun to be an employer that evokes from others harmony and ease? Wouldn't it be nice to provide an environment where people could come and work with you and recognize that they have skills and talents that they didn't even know that they have? Wouldn't you just love to watch some young kid who doesn't yet know that things don't go well for him come with the skills that he's already gathered, with you shining a light of appreciation on who he is, and him now getting to perform in this meaningful way, and you being so happy that you are in business for yourself, that you have the ability to say, yes, you, not you, yes, you, not you, you fit, you don't, you fit, you don't. I want you, I want you, I want you. I want this client, I want this employee, I want this client, I want this employee.